What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Dave is dead.
Rise again, I beg of you!
Thank you to our very own Miss Morgue, Heather Horror, for resurrecting me. Hey, if Freddy Krueger can be resurrected by dog piss, there's no reason I can't be resurrected by a boner.
What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Look at you, you've got a boner!
So who the hell am I, and what the hell am I talking about? Well, I'm your host, fucking Dave, and this is Season 3 of the shit show I like to call Everybody Dies.
Everybody dies! Everybody dies! Everybody dies! Everybody dies! Everybody dies!
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film the second half of the season finale last time, because of the world ending, so we'll have to do that again sometime. But this episode takes place chronologically right after that, and it won't spoil anything. But I'm gonna stop breaking the fourth wall now before it goes bankrupt and out of business. Regardless, I'm happy to be back, and I'm sure you guys are glad to be back too.
Fuck you!
So, what do we have on the agenda today? What movie are we going to start out with? This season, we got to start it out right. This is our third season, so we got to start out with something great. Something nostalgic to remind us of the past in seasons 1 and 2, but yet still something new. So, what do we have? This time they couldn't even get any, big name directors. I mean, there's a couple that have done some things here and there, but for the most part, it's a bunch of nobodies. So if they had to scrape together all these nobodies, then just to make a sequel, why even fucking bother then? You know, it's actually probably not as bad, because the first one, you expected something from these directors, and this one you don't expect anything, so maybe it won't be as bad. I hope, but... So when it sucks the shit-sucking shit out of the shit-sucker, maybe I won't be as disappointed. Which I don't know why I should be disappointed, because I expect it to suck anyway. I'm a hard man to please. So I'm just gonna say the titles. I'm not gonna say the directors' names. They'll show up on the title cards. If you want to see if they did anything else, you go ahead and look it up yourself. I don't have the time. Or the patience. Like the first anthology, the intro is the only good part. It's creepy, well done, and very effective. Too bad it goes on from there. Straight downhill, straight to hell. What's the alphabet start with again? Oh yeah, A is for amateur. Yes, they do that annoying thing where the title is revealed at the end, but once again, I'm saying it first because it makes more sense. Anyway, we hear some repetitive music and see a hitman accept a job, sneak in where the guy is doing drugs and topless girls are dancing. It's all very amateur indeed. The guy kills his target easily, but wait, a twist. We go back and watch the shit man fuck up everything and gets stuck in the vent, and he dies. 3 weeks later, his body is found, and when he falls out, his gun goes off and kills the target after all. Once again, I know it's not necessarily a horror anthology, but it's called the ABCs of Death. The main focus is death, and you have the fucking Reaper on the goddamn cover. So yeah, I expect it to be a horror anthology. Anybody would. Jesus Christ. But no, what do we get? More unfunny comedy and wacky antics, and it's just fucking why. B is for Badger. Should have been Boosh, apparently. 3 guys are making a documentary about badgers that are being killed off by a nearby power plant. The host is a dick and gets sucked into a hole and spit back out by unseen radioactive badgers. I guess.
Snore.
C is for Capital Punishment. A mob gets a confession out of a man about the murder of a little girl without even trying. They take him to the woods and plan to decapitate him. Meanwhile, the news reveals the girl was found hiding out with her much older boyfriend. 2 men rush to stop the execution but die in a car wreck on the way, and they chop the guy's head off after several attempts. Why did he confess to begin with? What was even the point? And then why did it take so many tries to cut his head off? Like, how is that relative to the plot and just... shit garbage. E is for Equilibrium. 2 guys rip off Castaway. A woman drifts onto the island. They fight over her and decide to kill her instead because bros before hoes, I guess. Stupid, annoying, repetitive music, stupid costumes, just... the whole thing was just really dumb, and now it leads to F. Can't possibly be worse than F is for Fart. F is for Falling. A woman is caught in a tree by her parachute. A young guy arrives on an ass. Their people don't like each other, I guess. She talks him into cutting her down and taking her instead of just shooting her. She breaks a leg somehow from that short distance, and then the idiot falls and dies. Somehow from that short distance. Some random guys show up with guns looking like the least threatening gang ever, and they stare at each other forever. The end. G is for Granddad. And here we've come to the bottom of the barrel. I'm not going to even waste my time on this unfunny, stupid, quirky for the sake of quirky shit garbage. I is for Invincible. A really nice family tries to kill their matriarch so they can get their inheritance, but she won't die despite good practical effects and some shit CGI ones. She has a stone that keeps her alive, and she spits it into one of the other women's mouth. Then it just ends. This is the first almost good entry of the anthology. It could almost be like The Granny. The one-liners are kind of bad and don't really work as well, though, but the effects are good, it's interesting, but then it just leaves us on a cliffhanger, which, what is the point of leaving on a cliffhanger when you know there's never going to be a sequel, an adaptation, or any reference to it ever again? What the fuck is the point? And there's a few that do that in this fucking movie, and it makes no goddamn sense. J is for Jesus! Oh, Christ. We open with some gay stuff, and it's like, alright, gay characters being shown as normal people without having to use that as a focus or a platform to... Never mind. Religious assholes killed the bald guy and are performing an exorcism on the other and torturing him. He sees them as demons for some reason, then he starts stigmataing, and his boyfriend comes back as a zombie Jesus and kills the nut jobs. Jesus Christ. K is for Nell. A woman hears a bell ring from outside, so she looks and sees this fucking thing hovering over another building across the way. Everybody in each apartment kills who they're with, and then they stand and stare over at her. She wanders around her apartment scared until a symbiote spills under her door. She starts bleeding for no reason, and then Carnage and Venom reunite, and she sees some quick flashes of her life, and it just ends. Another good entry, somewhat. But once again, it ends right when it's starting to get good, and it doesn't answer anything. And we'll never get those answers, so what's the point? What a waste. What a goddamn waste. L is for Legacy.
To tell the king what the diviner has said. I, Isago, will tell him that his son has to be sacrificed for the women in this harem to have more male children.
Untie him.
Are you no longer going to carry out the king's order?
Here we are! Consumed by his venom! It is a Prince Venom.
There's still over an hour and a whole lot of alphabet to go. M is for Masticate. A guy does bath salts and chases a guy in slow motion to stupid music until he's shot by a cop. Next. N is for Nexus. It's Halloween, a couple are meeting, a cab driver does a crossword, and you can guess what happens. O is for which means mob rule. Zombies hold living people on trial for killing zombies. It's as stupid as it sounds. 1 fucking hour left. P is for I'm not even saying that out loud. I couldn't watch more than a second of this Three Stooges wannabe stupidity. Contender for worst injury hands down. For how annoying and obnoxious it is. I'm legit fucking mad now that this piece of shit was given money and he squandered it on this bullshit. Q is for quit watching this. Fine. Q is for questionnaire. A guy scores perfect on a questionnaire, so they put his brain in a bad gorilla costume. R is for roulette. 3 people play Russian roulette. Like the cliche, it comes down to the last turn, but the guy shoots the woman instead. Then noise from upstairs suggests something bad is up there, and they are playing this because it's better than the other option. S is for split. James McAvoy has split personalities in this thriller from M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. Oh wait. A home invasion happens and the husband has to listen to the whole thing. It's well done but depressing and meaningless, and it's a thriller, not horror. Then at the very end, the killer turns out to be a woman whose husband the guy is having an affair with. It's real dumb. Kill your husband, not the guy's wife and baby. They didn't do shit to you. Mean-spirited garbage with no point or anything to say. T is for torture porn from the Soska sisters. Nothing I just said makes me want to watch it. Skip. U is for utopia. Did you know that people judge others by just their appearance? What a new and original concept. What genius. What talent. Go fuck yourself. V is for vacation. Stupid. W is for wish. Two kids are in a toy commercial and they get sucked into the world of the theme and it doesn't go well. Would have worked better if it were just a morbid commercial parody instead of dropping that almost immediately. X is for xylophone. 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 You know what I hate? Kids and xylophones. This lady does too. Y is for youth. Fucking stupid. One more. Thank God. Thank fuck. Z is for zygote. Finally, we end on a somewhat good note. A man leaves his pregnant wife and she refuses to give birth even 13 years later. The child promises not to leave her too, but makes room by pushing all of her guts out of her mouth. The effects are fake as hell looking, but practical and gross as shit. The husband returns like nothing happened. The mom kid says she got rid of the baby, and the husband says they'll just try and make another one. The effects aren't terrible, and the tone and everything is right, but the concept itself is just really fucking dumb. But you know what? At least we ended on a somewhat good note, and it's always a good note because the movie fucking ended anyway. It's done. It's fucking over with. So if I have to ask myself which one is worse, the ABCs of Death or the ABCs of Death Part 2, honestly, both only have a handful that are like somewhat watchable, and the rest are just awful. They both have ones that are worse than ones in the other ones. But I think it comes down to the fact that there were bigger name directors in the first one, so that makes it much worse that they sucked so bad. So I'm gonna have to say the first one is still worse. Not to say that this one wasn't a painful fucking experience from hell and wasn't a complete and utter waste of time on everybody's part, complete waste of money, and just an overall piece of fucking shit and a waste of my 2 goddamn hours. Not to say that, but I did, so. Either way, you're fucked. So don't watch them. But anyway, yes, we are back for Season 3. 10 episodes. I'm gonna do about an episode a month. I might do it sooner than that. Maybe just a couple weeks in between. It kind of depends. With everything going on in the world, and work, and everything else. No promises. But we are back. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a good season. Might not be our best season, but I'm gonna fucking try. A little bit. So. But the best news is that we are done with ABCs of Death. After 1 and 2, now we are all done. They're out of the way. It won't haunt me anymore. I won't have to do this shit anymore. Next time, F is for fuck!